All right, folks, we are back here on WLTH 1370M. That is 92.7 in the FM dial. It is 7:41 in the PM here, May the 1st, 2026. This is the May Day episode of Straight Out of the Cannon. And since it's the May Day episode, I say we celebrate with some good news.
There is a light for the blind man, a sound for deaf ears. It's riches for forgotten souls that have nothing left to give. There is freedom from bondage for those who can't break free. This is the gospel of Jesus, and it's good news. Let us remember we have good news. We won't hide it in the shadows. We will light up the truth. Tell everybody what He's done for you. Shout it from the rooftops. We got good news. Hey!
Yes, good news. Good news here in the city by the lake, the greatest city in all the world, Gary, Indiana. Folks, I don't know if you noticed this or not, but just recently, the data came in, and the city of Gary, Indiana, our homicide rate has fallen to the lowest point in more than 50 years. Yes, 50 years. All right. Yes, last year, the city of Gary, Indiana, the former murder capital of the world. Do you know how many times I had to hear that growing up here in this city? Being a little kid, being told over and over again, you live in the murder capital of the world. You know how many times I was afraid to put Gary on any job applications I had, so I would put my sister's address, who lived in Maryville, on applications because of Gary's reputation as the murder capital? Countless times. I'd be a rich man if I had a nickel for every time I didn't put Gary on a job application because I was afraid to tell people I was from Gary. Not ashamed. Never been ashamed to be from the G. But afraid. Afraid of what it would mean for my economic outlook. And, you know, it's been very hard to have to defend Gary all the time. So even as an adult, I defend Gary as much as I possibly can. I always tell people, don't Google us. Please don't Google us. Unless you're prepared to get out the sword and start fighting with people on Reddit and Twitter and everywhere else. But yes, the lowest total of homicides in 50 years. In 2025, the city of Gary, Indiana, the beautiful city by the lake, recorded 28 homicides, just a little bit over 2 a month. The city's lowest total in 55 years. The drop was accompanied by a nearly 24% reduction in non-fatal shootings. That marks a sharp decline from its nation-topping total of 134 homicides in 1993. I remember that very well. I was a very small child at the time, but I remember it. According to the Gary Police Department's 2025 Public Safety Report, the city's homicide rate has fallen to its lowest point since 1970. 1970! Homicides dropped to 28 in 2025, a 30% decrease from 40 in 2024, while non-fatal shootings fell 24%, indicating a significant sustained decline in violent crime. Non-fatal shootings dropped from 133 in 2024 to 101 in 2025, a 24% decrease. And when it comes to case resolution, The Gary Police Department increased its homicide closure rate to 82% in 2025, up from 74% in 2024. Police Chief Derek Cannon, no relation, noted that the department has seen significant decreases in homicides annually. Yes, let's just celebrate some more on that one. Yes. Dance like white people do. I get the white boy dance going on now with this. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Investigative outcomes across general crime categories increased sharply in 2025. Defendants charged more than doubled, rising from 163 in 2024 to 334 in 2025, an increase of 105%. Felony charges climbed from 506 to 778, a 53% increase, while misdemeanor charges rose from 87 to 261, marking a 200% increase over year. Narcotics enforcement efforts also expanded significantly in 2025. Defendants charged increased from 52 in 2024 to 76 in 2025, a 46% rise. Felony narcotic charges jumped from 112 to 202, an 80% increase, while misdemeanor narcotics charges rose from 40 to 66, up 65%. These efforts underscore the department's continued focus on disrupting illegal drug activity. Now, what did our mayor, Eddie G. Melton, I don't know what his middle name is, so I'll just say Edward G. Melton, say, what did our mayor have to say? He said in 2025, the city of Gary invested in our police department and achieved its lowest homicide rate in 55 years. While we are incredibly proud of these historic milestones, our work is far from over. Sustaining this momentum requires us to move beyond the traditional enforcement and build an ecosystem rooted in community and opportunity. Okay, all right. And all I got to say to everybody out there who's ever had something negative to say about my city, let the apology be as loud as the disrespect. That's right. That's right. Let the apology be as loud as the disrespect. Yeah, boy. That's what I'm talking about. Let it be as loud as the disrespect. I've lived in this city for 30 years. Well, longer than 30 years. And over the years, I've had to live through countless amounts of taunting and teasing and just overall, usually racist disrespect that comes with living in Gary, Indiana. It has been like that since I was a little boy. And I'm just happy to be able to be alive at a time where this has happened. Now, I talk about this fairly regularly on the show. This is a part of a long lasting trend that's been going on since the 90s. Crime has been trending downward for 30 years in this country. 30 years, since the mid-90s. And not just in this country, across the Western world. Virtually every first world country has seen its crime plummet since the 90s. We saw crime go down under Clinton, under Bush 2, under Obama, under Trump 1, and then COVID hit. 2020, we saw a sort of mini explosion in crime. And many people, many fascists, right-wing fascists usually, took that as an opportunity to start talking about how, we need to throw everybody in jail and throw away the key, completely ignoring that even at that point, crime was much lower than it was in the 80s and 90s and the 70s. Much lower. But this is why I always talk about the doomers. The doomers, and we have a lot of them in our community as well. In the black community, it's not just sort of right-wing racist communities either. No, a lot of times we have doomers in our community who will never celebrate the positive progress that we've made in our community. And I mean the black community at large, working class, urban communities, whatever you want to call it, at all. I've seen too many podcasters, too many people in the media talking about black communities as if they are violent cesspools where nothing ever gets better. Ever. And I see that all the time, and it drives me crazy. And I go, look at the crime rates. Look at the actual data compared to where we were in the 90s and in the 80s and in the 70s. Crime was much higher when my parents were going to discos than it is now. Why are people still talking about Gary like this? Why are people still talking about Chicago like this? Why are people still talking about Detroit like this? Why are people still talking about Baltimore like this? It is because they are black cities and places that have high levels of black people in them. Call it what it is. We just talked about this in the last segment before the break, before the happy segment. The war on drugs has always been about attacking black communities. All the tough on crime policies have always been about just locking up more black people. That's why I don't respect politicians or vote for politicians, whether they're Democrats or Republicans or anything else, who come with this tough on crime garbage. Most of them are just manufacturing consent for fascism. That is it. And so while I am very, very proud of the work that our city government has done in fighting crime, I can't sit here and pretend like they did it alone. Not when crime's going down everywhere at the same time. Just about. This is where we were at before before the pandemic started. This is the direction we were headed in, and now we're back on the right trajectory. Now, let the apology be loud as the disrespect. And more importantly, where are all the jobs at? Where are all the opportunities at? They told us for years that the reason that we didn't have opportunities in these type of cities is because the crime was so high. Well, we're at historically low rates of crime. Now what's your excuse? Now what do you got to say? What are you going to say now? That's what I thought. Let your apologies be as loud as your disrespect was for many, many years.